Children get their information from schools, parents, peers, and the media. It is important for each resource to be properly informed in order to offer accurate information.
Current legislation gives money to programs that are abstinence-based. Such programs do not teach about relationships, birth control, or disease prevention. About 750,000 to 850,000 American teenagers get pregnant each year. That rate is twice the rate in Canada and Great Britain, and 4 times the rate in Sweden. While most teens currently get most of their information about sex from school, many would rather learn about sex from parents, friends, and health professionals. Adolescents surveyed say that they think they know all about sex by the time they learn it in school. Parents in California want their kids to learn about sex before high school. Sex education from schools should include information such as birth control, relationships, and disease prevention, not just abstinence. Schools are the only place that have regular contact with adolescents. This makes schools a great way to educate all students about the facts of sex. The research done on sex education is mostly done by multiple choice surveys. This allows large amounts of people to be reached, but limits the ability to ask follow-up questions or for clarification.
Parents often fear the day their children start to ask questions about sex. The idea of talking about sex with their children makes many parents uncomfortable, but parents should not avoid the topic. It is important that parents talk to their children about safe sex and have open discussions on all topics surrounding sex. Parents are a powerful sex education resource. By the time children are having sex, they feel that they know everything there is to know about it, even if information they might have gotten from peers or media may have been biased or downright wrong. This is why it's important to talk to children early and often about safe sex so that parents and educators can ensure the children are getting the right information. Even middle-aged teenagers see parents as an important source for sex education. Take advantage of that. It's important to realize that sometimes our stereotypes of boys and girls get in the way of good sex communication. Is sex communication from parents to their children delivered differently for boys and girls? The answer is yes. Boys are often told to use condoms, and girls are often told to not have sex at all. These are stereotypes seen in the media, and parents and educators need to be aware of this so we can give all children a consistent message about safe sex regardless of gender. Parents talking to their children about sex education can be uncomfortable for them both. Parents should keep not only their discomfort in mind, but also their child's discomfort when talking to their children about sex. Research suggests that conversations between a parent and a child of the same sex are more comfortable and happen more often than conversations between a parent and child of the opposite sex. So, where do you start? Sex communication is not just talking about the act of sex. It is also talking about romantic relationships, sexual pleasure and masturbation, how to make good decisions, and the importance of respect for self and others. All of these topics are important to learn about sex, and research supports that parents are one of the most preferred sources of sex information for their children. So the next time you think the school sex education program will take care of all your child's sex ed needs, remember that you have valuable information to share with your child.
Peers have a big impact on adolescents because they spend so much time together and are going through the same feelings and experiences. Having older friends has been found to be a risk for sexual experimentation. Studies have shown that if teenagers think that their friends are having sex, then they are more likely to have sex themselves. In 2001, 23% of 12 to 18-year-olds surveyed said that television and movies provide a lot of information about pregnancy and birth control. Media has a large effect on adolescents because they are surrounded by it every day. Adolescents spend about 8 hours a day on mass media, and usually 3 to 4 of those hours are spent watching TV. A recent study found that of the 15 most popular teen shows, 75% of the characters who were involved in sexual activity had a positive experience because of it.
There is quite a lot of research that has been done on sexual education in different diverse groups. We will focus on the research done in different countries, for people with disabilities, and in different religious settings. Let's start with 2 African countries. In Nigeria, better sexual education is needed for parents who focus on scaring their children rather than informing them. By receiving a better understanding of sexual education, they will be able to talk with their children about ways to prevent HIV and AIDS, teenage pregnancy, and other unsafe practices, without worrying that their children's imaginations will run wild. In Tanzania, teachers need a better understanding of sexual education in order to better answer questions and concerns. It has been shown that through training, teachers gain a better understanding of the reproductive organs, and that their attitudes on teaching about condoms has improved, as has their attitudes about confidentiality. In both Thailand and Turkey, people with disabilities are often seen as people without sexuality or sexual desires, and they are not given the proper sexual education that they need, if any sexual education at all. As a result, people who are disabled face many barriers, including not knowing where to go if they need advice regarding any sexual dysfunctions. The Presbyterian Church supports sexual education programs outside of the school systems. It is believed that more informative discussions and controversial topics can be discussed in a way that reinforces what is taught in the schools. In the long run, it is believed that the discussions that are had will lead to positive attitudes about sex and sexuality, and that the discussions will also lead to the correct use of contraceptives. Children today are receiving information about sex from many different sources. It is important to talk to your children early and often to make sure that they have the right information.